Oh, Nick, congratulations on the win. You guys have sort of long been intrigued by Paul's skill set. Is tonight what you've sort of seen from him in practice, and you finally got a chance to do it in the game?
Well, he's yeah, I mean, part of that. I mean, he got on one tonight, right? I mean, I'm not sure anybody's expecting that, but that's the type of shots and running hard to the corner and hard line drives. That's what we want our wings to be able to do. But yeah, it was certainly nice. He's put in a lot of work. He's had a tough go of it here of late, right? Missing some games, but he came right back into form, obviously.
And your request of Utah to be a little bit more assertive on offense certainly got through.
Yep, it's good to see, isn't it? It's good to see. I mean, he's really becoming a threat, right? You gotta account for him up the floor in transition. He's pretty sneaky with his kind of run in behinds, or he'll cover so much ground coming out of the corner and ending up way at the top of the key on a relocation, just on effort, and that's hard to kind of keep track of when the ball's being penetrated down the other side of the floor. So um, he earns those open shots with his hard effort.
Great. Thanks very much, Nick. Appreciate it as always.
See you, Doug.
All right.
Next question goes to Michael Grange from Sportsnet.
Hey, Nick, I think for a lot of people, they just enjoy seeing a guy like Paul or Utah have a moment and that kind of thing. But, when in your business, how much weight can you afford to put on performances at this time of the year or against an opponent like, Orlando, which is clearly playing young and trying to rebuild and stuff like that? It's easy for us maybe to get carried away, but do you look at it a little differently?
I mean, listen, I think it's important that they can make those plays. If they couldn't make them this time of year and this kind of situation that we're in and this opponent, then you'd be worried. I don't think you expect them to go, make them all. You don't expect them to make them all, but you want to see some flashes of the things that we work on. And the funny thing is like, I don't think that anything happened other than we were running our offense extremely high level and the ball just kept finding the right guy and it just happened to be them tonight, right? And I'm not saying I already told you about you creating some of those things, but that's just a product of the other side of the offense working a lot of times. And I don't know, everybody just played extremely aggressively after passes, right? Pass, and then boom, and you were right into the paint, and they were either taking it to the rim or they were hitting the next guy out if there was a lane closure. So I mean, that's kind of how it's supposed to work, right? The ball finds different guys different nights, and we want them all to be able to take the rhythm shot.
Appreciate it, Nick. Have a good night.
Yep, thanks, Michael.
Next question goes to Josh Lewenberg from TSN.
Hey, Nick. Both Paul and Utah had stretches early in the season where it looked like they were starting to carve out a role in the rotation, and then Utah has the ankle, and Paul goes into the protocols. How tough is it for young players like that to be able to go through what they've gone through and sort of stay on track the way they have and bounce back here?
Well, I think it's really hard. I think it's hard enough just to try to crack in, right? But circumstances for them, bump in the road. What do you do, man? Kind of collect your breath and get up swinging, and that's what they've done, working, and also opportunity. I always say about that, right? It's opportunity here for them to play some long stretches, and that always helps too. It helps them just with experience, minutes, reps, opportunities again on the offensive end. But again, I like that they're both rebounding, they're guarding hard, they're running hard. That's what they got to consistently do when we put them in there with the other guys.
You found this tandem here with Chris and Kem that you've used in the last couple of games. I mean, Chris, as we've talked about a lot over the last few months, has sort of been in a position where he's had to play out of position with you guys, and Kem was in the opposite situation, playing out of position at the 4 with Orlando a lot this year. What do you like about those two together? Does it seem like there's sort of a fit with both of them in their more natural positions?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about I'm really trying to play. I don't think Chris played a minute at the 5 tonight. So I'm trying to get him out of there and develop his 4-man game. And the last 2 games, while his scoring has been maybe down, I think that his overall defense has been better. And I think his play's been better. I think he played really good these last 2 games, and he's had 11 points, maybe 12 points the other night, but he got 12 rebounds. He had 7 tonight, a couple more blocks from the weak side. And I just think that, again, for all the reasons I've discussed a dozen times, is that he needs to play that position, and now we're getting our opportunity to do it by running Kim and Freddie, pretty much exclusively at the 5.
Cool. Thanks, Nick. Have a good night.
Yep. Thank you.
3 more questions for you, Coach. Going to start with Christos over in Greece.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win tonight. I would like to ask you, you have a lot of adversities through that season with COVID protocols, with injuries. How you handle this, and how important for your team is to make players like Paul Watson step up and lead the team on the court?
Well, I think, the first thing, Christos, did get frustrating for a time. But then it comes to a point where you got to kind of decide that you're going to start having fun a little bit and keep working. We've been on the court a lot since the trade because we've got new guys, and we kind of out of necessity need to be there, but we find that the guys are being very attentive and studious and working, when we're practicing and in the film room. You can see the way they're playing hard and playing together. You can see the guys on the bench. There's a really good team thing going on here right now, and it is fun. It's good to see, and I think it's just a product. Our coaches work really hard with these guys that sometimes you guys don't see much out on the floor, and they work so they can do this kind of stuff once they get a chance like this.
Very much.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Louis Zatzman from Raptors Republic.
Hey, Coach. They say act like you've been there before, but Paul maybe took that like a step too far. Did he at least smile after the game when he was in the locker room?
I think so. I kind of missed his. He probably had the television interview after the game, I imagine, and I usually don't go in till everybody's in, but I heard a big roar when he finally entered the locker room, and I kind of came in and said, "Hey, what's going on, Paul?" And I asked him if he wanted to go to the track tomorrow, but he didn't want to. Yeah, he was pretty happy. He should be.
So that's what I was going to say. You mentioned fun in the last question, and it seemed like that was a huge opportunity for it. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't wasted because he seemed so serious on the court.
Yep, he did. He was pretty focused, that's for sure.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome, Louis.
Final question for you, Coach, goes to William Liu from Yahoo Sports Canada.
Hey, Coach. Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
You've got a chance here to see Kem Birch. Obviously, you got a chance to see him in China as well, but you gotten to see him up close with this team, and it seems like he's really brought a certain defensive presence. Today, he had 3 blocks and I think a steal as well. What's your assessment of sort of Kem's impact on your defense?
Well, a little bit what I talked about before the game. He's getting 3. It's kind of strange. I looked down the first quarter, they had him for 3 blocks, and then I got to the halftime locker room, they had 2, and then he got his 3rd again. So he's had hard-earned 3 blocks. I thought he had another one. He got a call to foul him. But like I said, I want him to keep swinging at those. He blocked 3 or 4, probably altered another 5 or 6. And I think there's just some bounce out there, William. There's some guys not coming in there and they think they're going to score easy, and they're getting some of those thrown back at them, and they're having to make tougher angles, higher arc, whatever it is to change those shots. So it's good. I think when a possession looks bad and a big bails you out at the end of it, it's a big lift spirit-wise for your team, and that kind of creates some momentum that carries on defensively, I think.
And just more of a general question, like, so, of late we've been seeing Chris play with Kem, but in the larger scope of the NBA, there's been such a shift towards getting smaller. Like, you've played some very small lineups yourself this season. What do you think is going to take in terms of like the league to maybe cut back the other way? Like, what would make a too big lineup viable?
I think those days are gone forever, William. I don't know though. You never know. It might swing back the other way like it was, but I'm not going to be happy till we have 6'10" across the board and everybody can drive and shoot the three and pass it, and we can switch everything on defense.